All right, and we are back to the Python Institute labs. This time we are talking about lab number 3126, essentials for the for loop, and we are specifically counting Mississippi. All right, so the for loop. So the objectives for this is to use the for loop and to reflect real-life scenarios in computer code. This one actually kind of is a real-life scenario-ish. Yeah. So what we're going to be doing here, and I will let you read through the scenario here. It talks about how to talk Mississippi. Basically, it's saying 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And the idea is for that to take approximately 1 second each time so that you have essentially a clock, a counter inside of you that counts 1 second at a time. And so it tells us your task is simple. Write a program that uses a for loop to count Mississippi to 5. So 1 through 5. All right. Having counted to 5, the program should then print out, ready or not, here I come. And says that, hey, we have a skeleton over here to get started with. Now there is some extra info here. It says the code in your editor contains 2 elements which may not be fully clear to you at this moment: the import time statement and the sleep method. We'll talk about them soon. Don't worry about it too much. For the time now, basically just know that we've imported a time module. There's a lot of things that Python can do that just aren't included by default. They're extra tools that you have to pull out. And so that's adding the time tool, and then will allow us to use a sleep method in order to pause. And so we have the expected output over here. Now I'm going to go over to my other editor, my REPL.it editor, just because the Python editor seems to cause me problems. Probably only because I'm recording. But we'll try out this time.sleep. So the time.sleep option is right here, and we'll just paste this down here. Basically, time.sleep 1 means sleep for 1 second. And we can see how this works if I put some print statements before this, before sleep, and a print statement after that. And then we run this, and we'll see on the right hand side it prints before sleep, waits about a second, and then writes after sleep. That's really what the sleep function does. All right, so we have a nice little skeleton for us. It starts off with writing a for loop that counts to 5. All right, well, to do a loop, to count to 5, basically we need to start off with a range of up to 5. Now there's a couple of different ways to do this. I'll just basically do a simple range. So I'll do a for, and then we'll call this count. And we'll create a variable called count, and we'll do in range 5. All right, so that's going to do a for loop, and it's going to start off with 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. So let's see, body of the loop, print the loop iteration number and the word Mississippi. Okay, I'm actually going to start before that. So right by default, like I said, count starts off at 0, but we want to write 1. So what I want to do is I actually want to do a count equals count plus 1. I want it to be 1, not 0. And then I can go ahead and I can print, and I want to print my count, comma, Mississippi. All right. And then part of the body of the loop, I need to use the time.sleep. So time.sleep 1. All right, so what will happen is it will come along and it will set count, it will look at the range and it'll say 0 to 5. So it will put 0 to count and say, okay, count is equal to count 1 plus 1. So it's going to be 1. It's then going to print 1, comma, Mississippi, or 1 space Mississippi. It's then going to sleep. It will come back up here and it will put 2 into count, I believe. And well, actually, let's see what happens. Very last step, we want to print out the final message. So let's go ahead and print, was it ready or not? Here I come. I'm actually kind of curious to see what's going to happen. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ready or not, here I come. Hey, it's just that simple. So really the hard part here was figuring out the range and the fact that we needed to add one to count. If I didn't add one to count, if I comment this out and then I rerun it, pretty much the same thing will happen, except everything will be off by 1. It'll be 0 through 4. And so then we have to start saying, oh wait, what's going on there? Well, count is just 1 too low. There's a couple of different ways I could have done that. I could have actually done a count plus 1 right there, and that should have returned the same value. Or instead of that, I could have also modified the range statement up here. Now, the range statement allows for multiple different variables. Here we just have the 1. We just have 5 as the variable, or as the maximum number. We could actually put in a 1, comma, and then 6. So it would actually be including the start location and the closing location. So then it would actually start off at 1 and then continue up until it almost reaches 6 and then end out. So there's a lot of different ways you could do it. It really just depends on which way seems best for you. This right here is probably the most elegant of the methods because we don't have to worry about count plus 1. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's always the first method that comes to you.